Welcome back today. My friends, sometimes the greatest treasures of life are hidden in the smallest of places, sometimes they're lying silent, sometimes they're right there in front of us and we don't even realize it. Imagine this, you pick up what looks like just an ordinary coin. You hand it over to buy a piece of candy, or you drop it in a bus conductor's hand for a ride. To you, it's nothing. Just a coin. But what if I told you that very same coin holds within it an entire world of history, secrets, mistakes, and value beyond your imagination? Today, I'm taking you on a journey into the story of the Philippines' 1999 1 peso coin. At first glance, it looks small, ordinary, maybe even forgettable. But the truth is far greater. This coin is extraordinary, and its story will keep you hooked until the very end. And before we dive in, let me say this: if you are truly fascinated by rare coins, forgotten currencies, and hidden treasures of history, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like, and drop a comment below telling me what old coin you found in your life, because who knows, you may already be holding a fortune without even knowing it. Now, let's begin. The year was 1999. For the Philippines, it wasn't just another year on the calendar. This was the aftermath of the Asian financial crisis. The economy was trembling, inflation pressed hard against the everyday life of people, and the government was fighting desperately to keep the nation's currency stable. During this storm, the minting houses of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas produced millions of 1 peso coins. To most people, these were just simple coins, money to spend, money to lose, money to toss into a jar. But for coin collectors, this year, this coin became something far, far more valuable. Why? Because in the world of coins, value isn't always about how much money the coin represents. Value lives in its mistakes, its rarity, its flaws. Yes, my friends, mistakes. The same kind of mistakes that minting machines sometimes make. The tiny details that slip through unnoticed in production. And it is those details that transform a common coin into a collector's treasure. The 1999 1 peso coin from the Philippines carries these secrets. Some of them have dates printed in slightly different fonts. Some have Jose Rizal's name stamped faintly, blurred just enough to be noticeable. Some even bear a reverse design, the national seal, that isn't as sharp or complete as it should be. To a passerby, these differences mean nothing. But to a collector? To a serious coin enthusiast? These flaws are like pure gold. Imagine holding in your palm a coin that most people would spend without a second thought, and realizing that because of a tiny printing error, it's worth not just 1 peso, but hundreds, even thousands of pesos, sometimes tens of dollars, sometimes even over $100 in online auctions. That's the thrill. That's the magic. Now let's paint the picture more vividly. On the obverse, the front, you see the proud face of Jose Rizal, the Philippines' national hero. His eyes are cast forward, sharp, visionary, as if he's staring not at you but at the future, sending a message across time. Knowledge, sacrifice, and courage are the true weapons of freedom. This is not just a portrait, it is a declaration carved in metal. On the reverse side, the official national seal of the Philippines, symbolizing sovereignty, dignity, and national pride. But in 1999, not all of these seals came out perfect. Some were faint, some were incomplete, and some were just different enough to make the coin stand out forever. The year 1999 mattered in another way. The Philippines, an island nation rich in culture and layered with centuries of colonization and struggle, was standing at the crossroads of history. Once under Spanish rule, later influenced heavily by America, and always pushing toward its own freedom, the story of the Philippines is carved into every symbol, every portrait, every detail of its currency. That's why these coins are more than just money. They are time capsules. And think about it, a coin is not just metal. It is a messenger. It carries with it the echoes of the time it was born. When you hold that 1999 peso, you're not just holding nickel or copper. You're holding the breath of a nation trying to stabilize, the memory of people struggling but enduring, the unspoken story of errors that slipped through the machines and became immortal. Let's talk about the minting process itself. Picture vast machines pounding rhythmically, stamping thousands of coins per minute in the halls of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. The clashing steel, the deafening thunder, the gleaming discs of metal being transformed into money. And yet, despite all the power and precision, the human factor never disappears. A small misalignment, a slight shift in a die, a momentary error in pressure, and a coin is born with a difference. These differences are not accidents to a collector. They are treasures. They are the fingerprints of history. Collectors around the world go absolutely wild for these coins. Forums light up with debates. Auctions climb higher and higher. Did you see the 1999 peso with the fate resale name? Someone writes. Another replies, I found one where the seal is incomplete. Suddenly, what was once worth a single peso has multiplied in value 20, 50, sometimes $100. And in the collector's world, that is huge. Do you realize what that means? That a coin you once casually tossed into a vending machine could today pay for your groceries, or more. That the humble peso you thought was nothing could be your hidden gem. And then there's the emotional, cultural side. Because remember, on every coin, Jose Rizal stares out at you. Who was he? He was the martyr, the intellectual, the revolutionary who gave his life under Spanish colonial rule. He became the immortal symbol of Filipino pride, of the fight for knowledge, freedom, and dignity. His face on the peso is not just a tribute, it's a living reminder of sacrifice. And so, every 1999 peso carries more than financial value. It carries the soul of a nation. Collectors don't just see a coin. They see that sacrifice, that history, that emblem of identity. For them, the 1999 peso is just a piece of metal. It's an artifact. It's proof that small things can tell great stories. Now I have a question for you. Have you ever stumbled across an old coin in your drawer, in your wallet, or at the bottom of a jar? Did you ever stop and look closely? Because the truth is, you might already have something extraordinary without even knowing it. The world of coins is full of surprises like this. That's why collectors always say, never throw away old coins, never ignore them. Examine them. Hold them up to the light. You never know what you're really holding. And if this video has kept your curiosity alive so far, let me pause just for a moment to say, smash that like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you love hearing stories like this, and hit that bell icon, because what comes next in this story is even more astonishing. Because the 1999 peso is not just money. It is a reflection of an era, a witness to struggle, and a canvas of mistakes that became miracles. Welcome back today, Have you ever held a coin in your hand that looked so ordinary, so common, so forgettable, and yet, deep inside, it carried secrets? Secrets of history, stories of nations, treasures that collectors dream about. Imagine this. You open an old drawer. There it is. A small coin, dusty, ignored, forgotten for decades. At first glance, you dismiss it. Just a piece of metal. Worth 5 cents, maybe less. But then you find out that this tiny circle of nickel could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. And suddenly, your heart races. Because what if you're holding treasure, and you don't even know it? Today, we're stepping into the extraordinary world of the 1962 Jefferson nickel. A coin so small, yet so full of mystery. But before we dive in, let me tell you this. If you love stories of hidden value, if you crave the thrill of forgotten treasure, if you want to uncover secrets buried in plain sight, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, and drop a comment telling me, what's the oldest coin you've ever seen? Because by the time this story ends, you will never look at pocket change the same way again. The year is 1962. America is alive with change. John F. Kennedy is president. The Cold War is looming. The nation is racing toward the future. But among the everyday moments, groceries being bought, bus fares being paid, children counting coins in their piggy banks, there lies the Jefferson nickel. Born in 1938 as a tribute to Thomas Jefferson, the man who wrote the Declaration of Independence. Its design by Felix Schlag has become an American icon. And by 1962, this little coin has already lived a long journey. Yet, that very year, something about it would turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Look closely. On the front, the obverse, there is Jefferson himself. His face, his profile, captured in nickel. Strong. Thoughtful. Almost timeless. It isn't just a portrait, it's a symbol of leadership and the American dream. Flip it over. The reverse reveals Monticello. Jefferson's majestic Virginia estate. Not just a building. A vision. A dream carved into stone. Every time you hold that nickel, you're holding Jefferson's legacy itself, pressed into metal. But here's where it gets fascinating. These coins were struck in two places, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia nickels, no mint mark. Smooth, blank. Denver nickels? A small, almost invisible D. Just a letter. Just a tiny detail. But that detail can change everything. A D can mean rarity. A missing D can mean value. That tiny mark or the lack of it is the difference between pocket change and treasure. And then come the accidents. The minting errors. The little mistakes that turn a normal nickel into something legendary. Double dies. Where letters and designs echo, doubled up like a ghostly shadow. Off-center strikes, where Jefferson's face slides awkwardly to one side, leaving blank space on the other. Planchet errors, flaws in the very metal itself. Cracks. Incomplete shapes. These aren't flaws, no, these are miracles. Miracles that collectors pay hundreds, even thousands, to own. So how much is a 1962 Jefferson nickel worth today? A normal, worn-down coin from circulation? 5 cents. Nothing more. But an uncirculated coin, fresh, sharp, untouched by time, can bring in a few dollars. And if that coin carries a rare error, or if it's graded mint state 65 or higher, you're no longer talking about cents. You're talking about hundreds. You're talking about thousands. Grading is the coin's report card. And in the world of collectors, condition is everything. The higher the grade, the higher the price. An MS-65 Jefferson nickel, flawless, radiant, like it was just struck yesterday, becomes a jewel. A prize. A treasure worth fighting for. At auctions, collectors clash for coins like this. Bidding wars break out. Voices rise. Hearts pound. Because everyone knows, rarity and perfection mean fortune. Imagine this. Someone empties their change jar. A dull nickel rolls out. They don't even notice it. They toss it aside. Later, they post a photo online. And suddenly, coin collectors from around the world swarm their inbox. Offers. Hundreds of dollars. Even more. Why? Because that dull nickel might not be dull at all. Maybe it has a double die. Maybe it's a Denver mint, untouched by circulation. Maybe it's a rare planchet error, one of only a few in existence. That's the magic. That's the thrill. That's the power of the 1962 Jefferson nickel. During that year, subtle and sometimes shocking errors slipped through. Some coins left the mint with doubled dies. Letters, numbers, and details shadowed and doubled, like an echo carved into metal. Others were struck off-center, Jefferson's face drifting awkwardly toward the rim. Some were clipped, missing slivers of metal. Others struck with overstrikes, producing strange, ghostly outlines. To the untrained eye, these looked like imperfections. To collectors? They were golden tickets. A regular nickel will always be worth 5 cents. But a 1987 nickel with an error? Suddenly, you're not talking cents, you're talking hundreds. Thousands. And geography plays its part as well. In 1987, the U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver struck these nickels. Two tiny marks, P and D, tell two different stories. A simple letter stamped above Monticello can be the line between common and rare, between ordinary and extraordinary. And the truth is, some mint runs, especially in high condition, are much harder to find today. That scarcity? It's what drives collectors wild. Picture it. A man sorts through his loose change, expecting nothing. A nickel catches his eye. It's from 1987. Harmless, right? But then, something seems off. The letters look doubled. The strike seems strange. His pulse quickens. Could this really be it? Could this be a rare error nickel hiding in plain sight? Suddenly, what was once a throwaway coin is now a treasure. That moment, that instant rush of adrenaline, that's why collectors chase these coins like hunters chasing prey. Auction houses have seen the magic firsthand. Proof versions, the mirror-like coins struck with absolute precision for collectors, gleam under bright lights. Perfect, untouched, flawless. At auction, these coins have soared into the thousands. And error nickels? They're even wilder. A misaligned strike. A clipped planchet. A doubled die. The bidding climbs higher, faster. The room fills with tension. Two collectors lock eyes, refusing to let go. The hammer falls. And just like that, a 5-cent coin has become a $1,000 prize. But here's the truth. Beyond the money, beyond the value, there is something deeper. Something emotional. The 1987 nickel belongs to a generation. It reminds people of childhood. Of saving coins in jars. Of fathers and mothers dropping nickels into piggy banks for their children. Entire rolls of nickels from 1987 were tucked away in drawers, forgotten, waiting. And decades later, when those rolls resurface, people realize they weren't just saving money, they were preserving history. Let's strip it down. The coin itself weighs 5 grams. Its composition, 75% copper, 25% nickel. A silvery gray surface, durable enough to survive decades of circulation. Millions were minted. Millions still exist. But only a fraction remain untouched, uncirculated, perfect. And fewer still carry the errors that make collectors' hearts race. Those fractions? Those are the keys to the treasure. Imagine this. You buy a soda. The cashier hands you your change. Your eye catches a nickel. Something looks different. You turn it over. The Monticello is doubled. The letters look strange. And in that instant, you realize you're holding a coin worth 100, maybe 1,000 times more than its face value. That jolt of discovery? That lightning strike of realization? Priceless. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Treasure hides in plain sight. The ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. Forgotten change becomes legendary. The 1987 Jefferson nickel is living proof of that. And let's not forget the proof sets. In San Francisco, the mint struck collector coins with mirror finishes, sharp details, perfection sealed in plastic cases. To hold one is to hold a time capsule. A 1987 proof nickel graded PR70, perfection itself, can sell for thousands. And here's the kicker, some families still have these coins, untouched, sitting in government packaging, not realizing they're sitting on a small fortune. Errors tell their own dramatic tales. Clipped planchets where whole chunks are missing. Off-center strikes pushing Jefferson's face to the very edge. Doubled dies that create ghost-like shadows. These coins weren't meant to exist. They're accidents of machinery, of timing, of chance. And yet today, they're one-of-a-kind treasures. Think about it. A man walks into a coin shop with what he thinks is pocket change. The dealer takes one look. His eyes widen. It's an error nickel. A doubled die. A rarity worth hundreds, even thousands. That man walked in with 5 cents, and walked out with treasure. These aren't fairy tales. They're real stories. And they fuel the fire of collecting. Now, let's return to the auction room. The lights dim. A hush falls. A 1987 proof nickel rests inside a sleek holder. The bidding begins. 200. 300. 500. The air buzzes. Voices rise. 1,000. 1,500. The excitement builds, electric. Finally, the hammer slams. Sold. One coin. Once worth 5 cents. Now worth more than 1,000. That, my friends, is the drama of numismatics. But let me leave you with this. The greatest value of the 1987 nickel isn't just in money. It's in memory. For some, it was the first coin they ever saved. For others, the coin that began their lifelong collection. Parents passing coins to children. Jars forgotten, rediscovered. And when those nickels resurface, they're not just coins. They're time machines. Every coin tells a story. And the story of the 1987 Jefferson nickel is one of history, of mistakes turned to treasures, of nostalgia turned to passion. So the next time you spot one, don't brush it off. Hold it close. Look carefully. Who knows? You might be holding a doubled die. An off-center strike. A proof. You might be holding history. So, did this journey captivate you? Did you feel the thrill? Then you already know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. Drop a like. And share in the comments the most interesting coin you've ever owned. Because today, our hero was the 1987 Jefferson nickel, a tiny coin that proved itself a giant in the world of collecting. And tomorrow? Well, tomorrow, who knows what hidden treasure we'll uncover next?